Hey, blast off, I can talk my ass off. Hey, smoke you what you seen and I'll tell you what I saw. Hollywood, what you think and I'll tell you what I thought. And we can talk about it all when we here on Trash
What it
Talk.
do? What's up, y'all? We back.
We made it.
We made it. Smoke Dizzle.
What up?
What number does it vote?
Oh man, it's been so long. What number are we on?
Come on.
Is it 29?
Plus 10.
Plus 10.
29 plus 10.
I mean 39. Why do I always say 29? That's 39.
I know it seems crazy. We've been doing this for 39 freaking weeks.
Yeah.
But can I get it in Spanish?
No, 39.
My dog Smokey got it right on the first try. Want to welcome everybody back to the 39th episode of the Trash Talk Podcast. And do we have an episode for you today?
We do. We got a good one, man. It feels like we've been away for a long time, even though we put out one last week.
Right, and we put out, scoreboard. You guys go check that. Beats are out. Go check that. I got to be honest with you guys. I got to be honest with y'all. It's football season.
Yeah.
We're football heads. So, football.
Football gets in. I don't want to say it gets in the way because it's part of what we do, but
yeah. I mean, we host a weekly or you and Alex host a weekly football show, so yeah. But yeah, guys, we've been busy, so
been doing a lot.
Yeah, so today, guys, we are going to be talking about something that maybe some of you guys have heard about, maybe some of y'all haven't heard about. Have you ever heard of the Georgia Guidestones?
I have. It's very odd, as a matter of fact. We'll get into it, but it's very weird that no one really knows how they got there.
Oh, I didn't know that.
As far as I know. I mean, unless some explanation has come out that I'm not aware of, but
well,
from what I've seen, no one really knows exactly who put them there.
Maybe you can shed some light on that.
Maybe.
Well, with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and get into these segments. Let's get into some OMG, and let's get into some
WTF.
Yes, sir. All right, y'all, coming out of the great state of Georgia. Today is September 20... September 30th.
Yes.
So you guys should be hearing this October 1st, October 2nd, something like that. This happened yesterday.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Georgia man gets 140 years in prison for restaurant arson.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. All right. This comes by the way of the Associated Press. On September 29th of 2019, a Georgia man who crashed his vehicle into a restaurant where he once worked and set it on fire amid the lunchtime rush has been convicted of arson.
Wow. Amidst the lunchtime rush, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised that there's an attempted murder in there.
Yes.
Or some kind of manslaughter.
Has to be.
Yeah.
Jurors in Richmond County Superior Court found 37-year-old Roland Cryle guilty but mentally ill Friday on 24 counts of arson, aggravated assault, and criminal damage to property in the 2017 blaze.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll basically leave it at that. Actually, I'm gonna say give out something what the authorities said. It said authorities say Croyle crashed into the Twin Peaks restaurant, then threw buckets of fuel, propane tanks, and fuel-soaked blankets inside and torched it. He had worked there before, being fired for drinking on the job.
Oh, Jesus.
What do you think about this?
Where exactly was this at again?
This was in the great state of Georgia.
Of course.
And Richmond County.
Richmond. Ooh. Fun fact.
Uh-oh.
Not pertaining to this, so I can't say this is a fun fact. But
Smokey stalking case came out of...
No, not actually, but this is where Boondocks was born.
Wow, really?
Yes.
Y'all, if y'all don't know who Boondocks is, do your research.
Oh, yeah. Definitely local rapper around here.
Was that a shout out?
A shout out to Boondocks.
Wow.
He probably ain't seeing this, but
I'm sure.
Shout out to him. He probably watching it low key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thought you was my dog. But yeah, what do you think, man?
Well, we don't have to go into the drugs or mental illness in this one because he obviously was found to be mentally ill, and I think it's quite obvious, right?
Well, drugs are involved too, is what they say.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he was a drinker.
Isn't that a drug?
Yeah, it definitely is a drug. I don't care what. Some people want to play it down like it's not a drug. That's a drug.
Caffeine's a drug.
Exactly. Everything's a drug.
I mean,
Every kind of chemical that you put in your body is technically a drug, right?
I mean, all right, I want to talk about that, but what do you think about him getting 140 years? Like, I mean,
Well, that's the weird thing about our legal system is no one can serve 140 years because people don't live to be over 140.
right.
In general, it may have happened once or twice, but the guy's not going to. And how old was he when this happened?
37.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to live to be 160 some years old.
I love how quick you can do random math just like that, but when it comes to small things, you're like,
Yeah, carry the one.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this it's. I want to know how he got fired. Like, I mean, I understand that he was drinking on the job and got fired, but how bad was this firing, and what was so bad about it that made him feel like he would be justified in trying to set the entire building on fire with the people in it
at the
during lunch rush?
Exactly. Well, I don't know. Apparently, they caught him drinking on the job. Okay.
Yes.
You know you're not supposed to drink on the job.
Of course.
All right. So, let's say you're drinking on the job,
Uh-huh.
and they fire you.
Yes.
You understand why, right?
Yeah, it's understandable.
Right. Now, the mental illness comes into play
Uh-huh.
when you guys fired me. I'm going to get in my Ford F-150 truck. I'm going to have 2 propane tanks. I'm going to have me some fuel-soaked blankets. And I'm going to set that thing on fire.
Wow. You know, this, actually, I can't even. I was about to make a comparison here to something that was really bad that happened a really long time ago in the early 1900s. There was a guy.
So you're going to do it. Let's hear this.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do it since I've already mentioned
Let's
it.
do it.
And we can't really equate these two, but it almost is. I can't even say similar, but there is a tie-in because this happened in Bath, Michigan, the town of Bath.
BATH?
Yes. Famous incident that happened where a guy was fired from the Board of Education, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
He either worked at the school or was on the Board of Education. So this guy was so distraught about being fired, he actually loaded up his pickup truck with all kind of flammables and things almost in the same fashion, but ended up detonating his entire vehicle and killing the kids and everything.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah. Oh yeah, in elementary school.
No, he ran into an elementary school?
Mm-hmm.
This was
Yes, it took a lot of lives. I want to say it was 20s or 30s.
Would you what's not mass shooting?
Mm-hmm.
What would this be called? A mass?
As far as the restaurant guy or the bath?
The bath guy. A mass arson?
Genocide maybe?
Genocide?
I mean, what else would you call that?
I don't know, but there could be. Here's how my conspiracy mind works. Okay, do you remember the crisis in Flint, Michigan?
Which one? There's been many.
Damn. I was talking about the one about the water.
Yeah.
Okay, now this guy loaded his car with a bunch of flammables, right?
Uh-huh.
And what puts out flame?
Water.
And what part of Michigan was he in?
Bath.
And what?
And I just thought of what you would call it, not genocide, but a massacre.
There you go.
Yes.
Just a massacre. Okay.
Let me read this actually real quick. The Bath School disaster, also known as the Bath School Massacre, was a series of violent attacks perpetrated by Andrew Kehoe on May 18th, 1927, Bath Township, Michigan, killed 38 elementary school children and 6 adults. Also injured at least 58 other people.
Jesus, that's a lot of people, dude.
Yes, all over getting fired from his school board job.
Drugs or mental illness? I don't care what you say.
Yeah, I mean, well, this was in the 27, so in 1927. So
There-
you got to wonder how many illicit drugs were available. You know, he wasn't doing crack. He wasn't.
Well, during that time, Coca-Cola had.
Yeah. Oh, there was cocaine.
I mean,
There was cocaine
Yeah.
around in those days. There was codeine.
which was everywhere.
Yes.
So drugs and mental illness.
Both. I think he probably was completely distraught. He was unstable to begin with, in which most of these people in incidences like this are going to be unstable. But he probably got drunk or something and decided, now is the time I'm going to repay everyone for my loss of my job.
That's crazy, man. I wouldn't even say drugs. I'd just say a straight mental illness. Because you have to be sick in the head to do something like that.
Of course, yeah. But usually you'll hear about in cases like this, someone gets liquored up right before they do it, though,
Yeah, just so they're not thinking clearly.
Yeah.
I don't care, dude. I don't care how drunk I get. I'm not going to go out there and do nothing stupid like that.
Yeah, because you don't have that gene. You don't have that
Mental illness.
Yeah, you're not in a state to be triggered.
Right.
To that effect, yeah.
Well, that wraps up the segment of OMG.
Yeah.
Smokey,
Yes, sir.
please tell me what's going on in the bottom.
In the bottom.
The bottom. That's what I'm calling Florida from now on. It's the bottom. Dang it. Y'all are the butthole of the country.
It is, man. And like I say before, the state is beautiful. It's a great
Gorgeous
place.
state.
The only problem with Florida is the residents of Florida.
Not
And-
all.
No, not all of them. I'm sure there's some great people in Florida. I mean, if you think long enough, you could. The Rock,
If you smell.
one of the greatest
Wait a minute.
Americans in history.
Hold on. He could be considered a crazy mofo. Who gets on the microphone in front of thousands of people and says, "Finally, The Rock has come back."
to Miami.
Yeah, or if you smell, watch me on camera, guys. What? Or the most electrifying. You kind of have to be a little
Yeah.
off your rocker to say some things like that.
Yeah, I mean, well, look at his work ethic. Like, he is driven beyond anything a normal person would ever think of doing.
I'm gonna let you get your Florida story, but I was listening to a podcast where Kevin Hart was on the Joe Rogan, and they, Kevin Hart and The Rock, they're like
Yeah.
best friends. You know,
Oh, yeah.
Kevin Hart said The Rock sleeps 4 hours a day.
Huh?
Just think about his jobs. Just think
Yeah.
about that.
Oh, yeah.
He's a wrestler. He films like 65 movies a year.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's in the gym probably 6 hours a day
and
to look like that.
Right. Apparently, one of his Instagram account is one of the most popular Instagram
Yeah.
account. I mean,
He always posts videos of himself at 4 o'clock in the morning, like, guys, look what time it is. Why are you not up?
why are you not asleep,
Exactly.
sir? Go to sleep.
You hear about these super driven people like him and, a Vince McMahon, or I was about to say the DT guy, but we won't mention him. But people that are that successful in life they can't sleep for some reason.
Is that a good thing? Sleep deprivation can kill you, drive you crazy.
It can, yeah. And I think some of these people do go insane, and we have a leader of our country that.
Oh my, bro, go ahead and get your, because I can talk about some stuff. Please get that Florida out there.
All right. This is, man, I could almost just read the title of this one, and we could go off that because the title says it all.
Y'all, I just want to, before Smokey says it, he has been waiting to tell me this Florida story for some time, so I'm excited to hear what it is. This is new to me, just like it is to you guys.
All right. This one comes from USA Today.
Oh, God.
Florida couple had sex in the back of a police car after a DUI arrest.
I'm out.
That's the end of the internet, guys. We are done.
What the heck? Hold on.
It brings up many questions, right?
Repeat that. Wait, I heard you.
Yes.
Let me hear the details.
All right. A Florida couple are facing multiple charges after they started having sex in the back of a police car after they were already under arrest on DUI charges. Nassau County Sheriff's Office Deputy Megan Mondero, 35, and they saw Megan Mondanaro, 35, and Aaron Seth Thomas, 31, riding bikes without lights on around 11:30 p.m. Friday in how do you say that? Fernandina Beach, according to arrest reports. See, if you just read the title, you're like, okay, how do two people get arrested for DUI? They can't both drive, but they arrested them for DUI on bicycles.
Well, that's it right there. That's easy.
Even driving a bicycle drunk is a DUI now.
Driving your lawn.
Yeah.
Do you remember we were in the live stream not too long ago and Mr. Phillip on you?
Yeah.
And remember he got a DUI for
riding his lawnmower.
Yeah. So it's definitely possible.
Yeah.
Shout out to Brandon. What's up, bro?
In the report, the deputy said he detected a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage emitting from both of them. The deputy also noticed Mondanero and Thomas both had bloodshot and watery eyes and were slurring their words. So, things got strange after both Thomas and Mondanero were arrested on DUI charges and placed in the back of the deputy's car. While I was outside, and this is the police speaking, while I was outside of the patrol vehicle, Megan and Aaron took off their clothes and started having sex.
Wait, while they were outside the patrol vehicle?
Yeah, the cop was outside of the patrol vehicle. And he looked back, and these two had undressed themselves and started going at it in the back of the car.
I call fake news.
I thought about that because why are you not handcuffed?
How? And if you are handcuffed, how do you do that? How do you imagine taking? Well,
I mean, I guess it's
possible.
Well, not to get too graphic, but yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
But taking those clothes off is going to be difficult.
Yeah, and we'll think of think about how long it's going to take you to achieve that, to take not only my clothes but her clothes off. Get into and do it basically.
Yeah.
How long was this cop not inside the car? How long were these people unattended?
Yeah, was he just having a chat with his buddies? Like, 2 or 3 cops are going to pull up for every incident now, so.
Dude,
they threw them in there, and they're sitting back talking like they were riding their bikes, And then he looks up. Dude, what they doing over there?
I could tell you a story, but I'm not going to tell it.
Let me finish this, and we'll get into it.
Yeah.
When he says, when I opened the door to stop them, Aaron was naked. So he was naked somehow.
Wait a minute. When he opened, the cop door. Okay.
And Megan had her pants down, where certain parts were visible. I also observed her bra was halfway off, and her breasts were fully visible.
Drugs and mental illness.
I'm going for drugs, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
You could say they were just blackout drunk, but.
Oh my God! I thought you said something totally different. But go ahead. Go ahead.
But if you look at their mugshots.
Oh, is that? Can I? You're gonna have guys. I'll post this on screen.
Please do.
Something ain't right here, bro.
Something is not right.
He doesn't look.
He looks halfway normal.
Yeah, he looks decent. He doesn't look like her. First of all,
she's been into something.
Either she just got scratched by a cat, beat up by her boyfriend, or has been picking at her face for the past 2 weeks. But to the guy, Aaron Thomas, you can do a lot better than Mrs. Mondanero over there.
Well, and that mugshot, and this is all alleged. We're not accusing these people of doing anything. This is just, we're commentating on the story.
This is not alleged, sir. This is...
Well, I guess until they get convicted, it's still alleged.
You're right.
But, judging from that picture, I would say drugs are involved, and it's a certain M word that could be involved here.
Yeah, and when we say that, for guys, I want y'all to understand that we're saying M as in mother.
Yes.
M word, 4-letter M word.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess people could misdrew that.
Mm-hmm. But, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, looking at the guy, though,
Ooh.
He's starting to have symptoms also.
Let me see it again. What do you?
He's starting to exhibit some symptoms
Oh,
of
under
a
the
certain.
lip. Yeah.
Yeah, and you see the side of his nose.
Yeah.
I'm not accusing them of doing the M word.
And look,
but it looks like they've been doing the M word.
Yeah, man. Okay, I'm secure in my masculinity. I mean, he's a handsome guy.
Yeah.
And she looks, if not double his age.
Yeah.
Maybe they were riding bikes together.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this was a
meetup?
Yeah, like hey, I'll trade you some money for.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It could be, and maybe the DUI was the only thing they could get him on.
Maybe.
But
dude, wait. Let's say, hold on, that makes sense now. Okay, let's say it was a prostitution.
Uh-huh.
All right, so I don't have a hotel room. All right, so look, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and give you. All right, so how much for the full service? Give me $100. All right, so the guy gives her $100.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go. They're riding their bikes. Well, let's take a few shots. Now we're riding our bikes. We're in the woods, trying to find a nice place in the woods. We have to cut through this part. Dang, the cops pull us up.
Yeah.
All right, so she already has his $70 So now they're in the car, and he's like, "Look, I already paid you. I need it. You know, you're gonna have to give it." She's like, "Crap. All right, come on."
Jesus.
I mean, that could be a possibility. Maybe I don't know about that.
That's very possible.
Could be.
It is very possible. Now, what kind of charges you think they get out of this?
Just DUI. Well, maybe. I mean, you can't get
probably some lewd conduct or something.
Would you get indecent exposure? I mean, it's not in public. You're in a.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that depends on if the cop car is considered public property.
True. I just want to say that cop has to be a douche bag. I mean, seriously, bro. We're not driving in a motor
they're not
vehicle
in danger of running over people. I mean,
you might hurt
if
yourself.
You're in a crowded area, maybe, but you would think they would have to have actually done something.
Yeah, like
hit
a mailbox.
Yeah.
I mean, again, shout out to Dr. Philipponia. He was on his lawnmower cutting his grass.
Mm-hmm.
How much of a douche do you have to be to pull over to somebody's house on a Sunday afternoon while they're cutting their grass and breathalyze them on a dang John Deere?
I would guess something like that happens when the neighbors call the police and they're just searching for something to charge you with. Because if you're not cruising down the street, you're on your property.
Cruising down the street in my 6'4". Go ahead.
My John Deere.
Hey, hey,
cruising down the street on my John Deere.
Hey,
cutting the grass,
just drinking a beer. Hey, that's hard. Yeah, man. I don't know, dude. These people, some of these cops are just douches, but I don't wish jail or death on anybody. And these guys probably went to jail, sat in a sober tank, got sober, and was like,
and realized that was dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
you know, they probably could have all been avoided.
Yeah. Don't drink and drive your bicycle. And then when you get in the back of the cop car, don't take your clothes off and try to... That's what I think happened. I think he paid her, and he's like, look, you got my money, and I want my services I paid for.
Yeah.
That's what I think happened.
Just a little side fact here. Mondero blew a .062, and Thomas blew a .145.
Mondero was the girl, right?
Yes.
She was toe up.
Yeah, but the guy was worse. He was a .145.
And what was the girl?
062.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the guy was tore up.
Yeah.
Guys, go on our YouTube channel. On the Trash Talkers YouTube channel, I posted a video a while back. Says I went to jail on Thanksgiving night. Just go watch that video. It'll show you how some of these cops are kind of,
Oh yeah. Well, that's what's going on in Florida right now.
Well, that wraps up the great segment of OMG and WTF. Now, let's get into some Explain
I was about to go for it, but
I thought just gonna end it up. Let's try it again. Let's go for some explain.
in this.
Yes, sir. Smoke Dizzle.
Yes, sir.
I'm about to send you a picture.
Send me a picture right over.
And y'all know me when I do what my screenshots are generally the paranormal or the unexplained. Smokey does the mug shots.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna send you a picture and you should be getting it in 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
Have you gotten it?
No. There it is.
What do you think about this?
All right. What am I looking at here? A portal has been opened up. Wow. Okay, so a few things come to mind here.
Okay.
Maybe three things. One, this is a very weird weather event that is happening.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some weird whirlwind or tornado was about to drop out of that. I mean, it's a very clear sky, so you wouldn't think of a normal tornado, but some kind of weird swirl is going on here. But the second thing would be, it looks like something went through that cloud extremely fast.
Something massive.
Yeah. Maybe a fallen meteor or something, but you would think that would be visible in the picture somehow.
Yeah, or some impact on the ground.
And the third thing, the more esoteric thing, would be there is a portal that has been opened up right above this town.
Crazy. Have you ever seen anything like this? With your own
Not
eyes?
in real life, no.
All right. Well, the backstory on this says, on January 7th, 2011, strange clouds appeared over Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, which is where I'm from, literally an hour from where I was born.
Yeah.
They looked as if there was a hole punched in the sky.
Yeah.
I quote, "At first, we thought they were tornado clouds, but the air was so still, like mausoleum still." One witness told the National Geographic, "You just knew it was something unusual. I've lived on the beach for years and never seen anything like this." When people uploaded images of the clouds, the internet was ablaze with conspiracy theories. Many blamed HARP. If you guys don't know what HARP is, do some research. The facility in Alaska that some believe can control the weather and can cause natural disasters. Other conspirators said it could be extraterrestrial UFOs, while one person said it was the second coming of Christ, according to National Geographic. One expert said the clouds are most likely formed by military aircraft flying close together. Now,
Well, that encompasses all of my three possibilities.
basically, I don't think you said UFOs.
No, I didn't, but I was thinking maybe something went through the clouds really fast. I mean,
Now, I don't know. What makes it weird to me is looking at this picture, and it's almost a complete circle. It's almost a complete circle, and around this complete circle are blankets of just normal stratus clouds. Now, in the middle of this circle, it looks like a swoosh, you know?
yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's what leads me to believe that something went through it real fast, or there's a portal there and the clouds are being sucked into it like a black hole.
when you say portal, what do you mean?
A portal could be anything, like wormholes or just a transportation to another dimension or another place, or some kind of time warp. Just any kind of opening, a rift.
Like, do you really, in your heart of hearts, believe that there is a wormhole,
In space?
or that in this picture?
No, not necessarily. I'm sure there is some logical explanation. But that is one of the things that comes to mind as a possibility. If such things, I can't say that such things like that do exist because I've never experienced it with my own eyes or been through one to find out what's on the other side. So, I can't say that's what it is, but if such things do exist, this looks like a possibility
Of what
that.
it would look like.
Yes.
Yeah. It's very interesting, and I'm very curious to find out what exactly happened, because this isn't just the only picture you'll see of this. I mean, if you guys Google strange cloud anomalies, there are a bunch of weird ones, bro.
Okay, I got a theory I just came up
Oh
with
Lord.
right on the spot,
if
right?
if you bring Bigfoot and the human in this,
No. This is not how Bigfoot was created.
Let's hear
But
it.
this is it involves CERN. You know how
Well, explain to the people what CERN is.
CERN is it's in Switzerland. It's the town of CERN, Switzerland, where the company CERN operates out of, and they built the Large Hadron Collider, which is a 3-mile loop underground that they built there, so that they can speed up particles to the speed of light, basically,
Smash them into each other,
just to see what happens. So, and people claim that by doing that, you can create black holes. So let's say, now no one really knows exactly how black holes operate, but let's say they created a tiny, tiny little black hole, and one escaped and it's floating around the atmosphere.
Oh, and that just happened to be a.
And it just, come across this one spot, and everything is getting sucked into this microscopic black hole right there.
Can you take a picture of a black hole?
I would technically no.
So, do you remember a few episodes?
Yes, we talked about that. The only thing is, you can take a picture of the light that is beyond the event horizon of the black hole that is actually escaping, but you can't take a picture of the black hole.
Wait, escaping?
Yes.
I thought a black hole sucks.
Yes. Well, if you have a black hole in the center of something, which will be this microscopic little dot that everything is getting sucked into, because the gravity, in theory, is so strong that nothing can escape, not even light, which proves that light has mass and density. But so this one black hole is sucking everything within its reach into it, right? So the only thing you would be able to see is the light that's far enough to be outside of the reach.
That's going into the black hole.
Yeah, well, you won't see the ones that are going into the black hole, but you'll see everything outside of that is able to escape, because the gravity is not pulling it in. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you see a giant ring, you can see the light that's far enough away to escape and make it to your eyeballs.
Right.
But you won't see anything inside there, because in theory, if you follow the theory to a T, it is impossible to see a black hole. Yes.
Which, guys, y'all know how skeptical I am about space. But my thing is, in order to take a picture of something, there has to be light.
Mm-hmm.
So you're taking a picture of something that eats light.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And everything else.
How are you taking a picture?
Well, I mean, in theory, you can't. But that's what they were trying to do, is say, like, here, this is the location of a black hole. I mean, you can't see anything directly in the middle.
Could it have been an artist rendition?
Oh, possibly.
I mean, they said this is, guys, if y'all don't know what we're talking about, there was a recent black hole that was photographed.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, it all comes down to if you really can trust everything NASA says or not.
Yeah. Well, anything else you got for that Explain This Smoke Does?
No, I think that's it for that one.
Hey.
Yeah.
Bruh.
What up?
Fo.
What up? Want to get into something?
Some good old-fashioned trash talk. Booyah!
I took 14 prednisones and I'm jacked.
Jack the smell what the rock is cooking. Woo! Guys, what do y'all know about the Georgia Guidestones? I've brought it up. If I could, would you like to give the description of it?
I'll give a general description.
Go ahead.
Straight from Wikipedia, as a matter of fact.
I'm in the same location.
The Georgia Guidestones are a granite monument erected in 1980 in Elbert County, Georgia, in the United States.
Where the hell is Elbert? Sorry.
I know where Elbert's in, so I imagine that's in Elbert County, right? I mean, it's in northeast Georgia.
That's like saying, well, I know where Salamian is, so that has to be in Salem, North Carolina, right?
Oh, well. A lot of times they do.
You're right.
Like Douglas Field is in Douglas County.
Georgia. You
Yeah.
have a point.
But a set of 10 guidestones is inscribed on a structure. Is that grammatically correct? A set of 10 guidelines, I read it wrong,
I was about to say.
is inscribed on the structure in 8 modern languages, and a shorter message is inscribed at the top of the structure in 4 ancient language scripts.
Right. Just to expound a little bit more on what Smokey said, it says one slab stands in the center with 4 arranged around it. A capstone lies on top of the 5 slabs, which are astronomically aligned. An additional stone tablet, which is set in the ground a short distance to the west of the structure, provides some notes on the history and the purpose of the guidelines. Some people actually refer to the Georgia Guidestones as America's version of Stonehenge.
Yeah.
Now, the reason we're bringing this up, guys, is because there are 10 quotables. There are 10, what would you call these? 10 what? Commandments? 10 guidelines, maybe?
Yeah, guidelines.
10 guidelines that are written on these Georgia Guidestones. Now, I want you guys to know that, to our knowledge, we don't know how they got there.
No. Well, in 1979, a man using the pseudonym Robert C. Christian approached.
Of course, his last name was Christian.
The Elberton Granite Finishing Company on behalf of a small group of local Americans and commissioned the structure. So no one really knows who this guy was, but he was using the pseudonym as Robert C. Christian, which Christian.
And Robert sees Christian. So
well, and I think this has a lot to do with the Christian religion.
I'm glad you said that, because we're gonna go through each of the 10. What do you call them? Guidelines?
Yeah, I think maybe they were trying to create a modern day commandment tablet.
Does it say how old these things are?
Well, they were produced by the Granite Company in 1979.
79. So 89, 99, 2009. Dang, 40 years.
Yes. 40 years ago.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay, so guys, here's some of the things, and it's an excuse me,
An anomaly.
It's an anomaly because some of the things that are said on these guidestones are just, they're crazy. Like, okay, for instance, I'm gonna read the first 2, and we can go over them. You can read the next 2.
Okay.
And so on and so on. Okay?
Yeah, I'm pulling up the list of them.
The first one, if
Yes.
you ask me, is by far the most compelling. And
Yes.
just so you know, these 10 guidelines or rules or whatever you want to call them, like he said, they're in different languages. And these languages range from English, Spanish, Swahili, Hindi, Hebrew, Arabic, traditional Chinese, and Russian. The first guideline on the Georgia Guidestone says, maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature.
So this is population control.
Is it though?
Yes. Definitely. I think, now this is just what I think. I think probably when they were making these guidelines, it is supposed to serve as a reference to anyone after apocalypse. After this great disaster, at that time they may have been thinking nuclear war or something where most of the population has been wiped out, because there's been stories for many years that the Third World War would end up wiping out, over half. I mean, wipe out, what was it, like 5/6 or something of humanity.
Damn. Well, there's 7 billion people on Earth, so.
Yeah. So you think about it. If there's 7 billion people, then that's
A lot of people.
yeah. I mean, it's half of a billion. So
Well, let's break that down.
I suck with math. But
Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you're right on point. But let's break that down. You said that they could have potentially thought there was some catastrophic event. Has there been any catastrophic event from 1979 to now? I mean, worldwide. Of course, we've had national tragedies, but
yes.
can you think of any?
No, I mean we've been close to World War III multiple times, I think, but of course it hasn't happened. I mean, but
You know what could? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Whoever put these things there and whoever was so dedicated, because these things had to cost money to make. They had to cost money to put it on a certain plot of land.
Yeah.
And it had to cost money to engrave it in 2, 4, 6, 9,
and
8.
9.
I mean, 8 different languages.
And then an extra tablet.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the languages, yeah.
So this had to cost money to do. So whoever did this firmly believed in what he was doing.
Yeah.
So maybe, do you remember the 2012 Mayan?
Yes.
Maybe this guy was aware of that in the 70s and thought
That could be.
maybe this is what's going to happen. So
It could have been set there because they were thinking 2012 was the end.
right.
That's I never thought about that. That's a damn good point.
Yeah, man. But it says maintain humanity under 500 million. If you think about it worldwide, 500 million people is nothing.
No, not compared to. I mean, we almost have that just in America right now. We're getting close to that point.
What's the population in America?
Last we were approaching 400 million.
Is it true everybody in the world can have their own 12 by 12 house in Texas?
That's what they say. Yeah.
Was it true? Gun to your head.
Yeah, I would say yeah. I mean, it would be
crazy.
close quarters. I mean, you get 12 by 12, which is basically this room, the studio room that we're in right now.
Right.
So, if you got, that's, I mean, how many people? 20 people just in this house.
Yeah, but we're like, in the house. Okay.
20 people in this house, and then you have a house connected to you with 20 people, and so on and so on to the entire size of Texas.
So the conditions would be terrible.
It would be very terrible.
Right.
I mean, they also say, if you built apartment buildings,
Build up.
yeah, you could build these skyscrapers to where everyone in the world could fit inside one county.
Yeah, just build up.
Yeah.
We'll get into the other 9 guys, but Smokey, I don't believe in overpopulation.
You don't?
Not at all.
Why?
Because I've traveled the world, and going over some of these places, you see nothing but barren land.
Yeah.
I mean, you go over Utah. There are some places where you might not see anybody for 17, 18
man,
miles.
I've done it. Yeah, traveled through Colorado, Nebraska, Montana. Like you can literally not even see a car for hours.
That's what I'm saying. So how are we overpopulating? What I think it is over-resourcing. We have, but then again, you could easily say, well, we have an unlimited amount of resources.
Why are we not farming the entire state of Montana, or something like that?
Good point. Why is, out of our 50 states, if we were under or over-resourcing, because we were overpopulating, why isn't just take one of our states that has the least amount of people and just use that one state as farmland?
What would that be, like North Dakota or something?
Maine, something like that.
Well, Maine's a small state, but
Let's take Maine. You take one out of our 50 states and just make that nothing but farmland. Corn, rice, cattle, pig. I mean, that right there
could feed the entire country.
If not,
you could.
Half of the world.
You definitely could. I mean, we are a wasteful society too. I mean, you see it. How many restaurants are just in the city we live in? And how many of those throw out food at the end of every day? How many buffets are there that are constantly throwing food out? So maybe over-resourcing is not really a thing.
Maybe overpopulation is not a thing.
It may not be, but it may not be at this point. But our population of the world keeps growing exponentially,
Yeah, but
it eventually may be a thing.
true.
Like right now, if we stopped reproducing right now, we could all live comfortably. Like if we maintain this exact number that we have right now.
But you understand people die.
Yeah.
So-
Well, that's what I'm saying. If we maintain the number we have right now, there's only people born to the exact amount of people dying.
So it equals out,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and we maintain the 7 billion people that we have on Earth right now. But, you know, you do look at some places like India and China where there's just a billion people crammed in together. And maybe overpopulation grew out of city life, out of people frustrated with people cramming themselves in, societies just cramming themselves in together and getting frustrated that you are so closely knit with so many people, you know? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe that theory of overpopulation grew out of that, and these people aren't seeing the big picture that there's plenty of land out there that is uninhabited.
Plenty. I mean, all right, we've got 9 more to go over, but we could definitely just go on that one for a while, man. But like China, dude, I mean, yeah, let's go to the next one. Let me say the second one, and then
we
you can
could
say-
talk about this.
Yeah.
We could do a whole podcast just on that.
By the way, can I go ahead and say with the next podcast? Can I just throw an idea
Yeah.
to you? Can we do the next podcast on global warming
Yeah, we can.
or global cooling?
Yeah, because we're going into October and it's still 95 degrees. here.
Guys, it is October 1st, and it is 76,000 degrees
Yes.
outside.
We're dying in Georgia, guys. I don't know how you guys are all living, but it's hot
here. All right, the second guide or the second rule on the Georgia Guidestone, it says guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity, which kind of plays off of the first one.
Yeah, it does,
Yeah.
but it adds an extra layer to it. Survival of the fittest, selective breeding.
Yeah. Improving fitness and diversity.
Yeah. So basically, what they're saying is you stop letting unfit people breed.
fat slobs.
Yeah, or mentally unstable people.
Yeah, but you can't tell who's going to be mentally
Well,
unstable.
yeah, you can't, and that comes down to a humanitarian issue. But I think when these people made these, that was what they had in mind.
Yeah, and think about it. This came out in the 70s where social media wasn't a...
Yeah, exactly. And there was no social justice warriors at that time. Where back then you were allowed to point out like if someone was too fat or if someone was mentally
No, see,
unstable.
I'm sorry, but I understand saying the F word to a homosexual person. I understand that. I understand using racial slurs. I understand that. But if you don't have a medical condition and you are just being fat lazy, I can call you that. I'm sorry. You
Yeah.
are being fat because if I'm at my job and you're paying me and I'm not doing the job properly to where I am getting my compensation, guess what they're going to call me?
Lazy.
Lazy.
Yeah, I think it's okay to point that out because when you point out stuff like that, it can also improve someone else's life when they realize, oh, I'm being lazy.
Yeah, maybe I am lazy.
Maybe I need to pick it up a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. I don't see what's really the harm in that.
Well, mark my words, in the next 5 years, the 3-letter F word, fat,
Will be
yes.
also on the social justice warrior list if it's not already. I mean, we had no term fat shaming years ago.
All right, so the F word for a homosexual person is called, they like to be called queer. Or,
Yeah.
All right, so what would the proper term be for a fat person? Improper malnutrition or something.
Nutritionally impaired.
Yeah, something like that.
But then that could come back down to a mental issue too.
Sure.
You know? People have eating disorders.
And nutritionally impaired could also go to someone who's bulimic, who just
Yeah.
can't gain weight, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, what we got for the third and fourth one?
Number 3 is unite humanity with a living new language.
Wow.
So this goes beyond the old patriotic, learn America or learn English or
English.
leave.
Learn America.
Well, learn American. I mean, some of these, patriots, and I'm not talking about people who just love the country, because I get it. I love the country too. But there's some people that take it to that new level, not really new, but they take it to that next level where they're like, don't speak Mexican here.
You mean Spanish?
Yeah. You speak American.
Okay. Okay.
Speak American or leave.
Okay. You mean English and you mean Spanish is what
Well,
you mean.
I mean,
I know what you're.
I mean, if you don't look like me, get out of here.
Wow. He's right though.
I mean,
there's
there's people that
out
are
there.
like that. Yeah, for sure.
So wait, let's break that down. So okay, the first one says maintain humanity under 500 million. So that's decreasing the population. The second one says guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. So that 500 million people are going to be fit and diverse.
Yes.
So the third one says out of those 500 million people, they all need to have one unified
Common
language.
Yes.
If you had to take a guess, because this was written in 8 different languages, what language would be the universal language?
Right now, it's English, obviously.
I think that's the. You think that's the most spoken?
It may not be. There may be only because of a certain area with a higher population.
Like China.
Yeah.
Mandarin, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. But as far as what covers the biggest part of the earth would be English.
English, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 4, rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. Meaning, don't let your religion spew your vision of how life is. Like, don't rule your people using a religion rather than common sense and logic.
Rule passion, faith.
I mean, they're basically saying, like, yes, you can have your passion, you can have your faith, you can have your tradition, you can have your superstitions, but don't let it get in the way of government and society.
This guy sounds very left.
Oh yeah, so far, yeah, this is extremely left. Although population control is also a tool of the right as well.
I'm sorry, I don't understand the guideline number 4. Rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason.
Yeah, well, that's what he's saying. It's like, you can have your religion, your faith, your superstitions, but you can't let it
Overpower.
rule. Yeah, you can't let
Gotcha.
that be your rule. Like, it needs to be common sense. And it needs to be logic that actually sets your laws, rather than, some religion that we have no proof is actually
right.
real.
So before we get into number 5, so far, do you agree with all 4 of these?
To a certain extent. I mean, now, as far as the population control, if we are already down to that low of a number, it wouldn't hurt to keep it at a certain level rather than letting it get out of hand once again. So that's not saying we need to kill off a bunch of people to get down to 500 million people. But if we're already below that number, then what's the harm in keeping
it at that number?
Yes, exactly.
What about the unite humanity with the living new language? You agree with that? Well, if we're at that number.
Yeah, well, if we were sent back to the Stone Age in some kind of apocalyptic scenario, it's going to be kind of hard, isn't it? Because we're not going to have the internet to communicate with all corners of the earth.
So you're saying, oh, I love how you just said all corners of the earth. Did you catch that one? Love how you said that.
It's an old phrase from when they didn't realize that it was a globe, but...
Yeah, but okay, so let's say we are back in the Stone Age. You think the right thing to do is for everyone on Earth to have a universal language?
Well, it would make commerce. It would make transportation. It would make staying connected. It would make it so much easier if everyone understood a common language.
One language.
Yeah.
You can have different dialects.
Yeah.
You can have different meanings.
Yeah, as long as everyone understood everyone.
That language. I understand.
Like, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. All right, going into number 5 on the Georgia Guidestones. Also, y'all, this is literally maybe a 45 minute to an hour drive from where we live.
Oh, yeah. We should go there one day.
I would love to
do a
do that.
vlog.
I'm being dead serious. I would love to do that, man. Number 5 on the Georgia Guideline says, protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Protect people and nations.
That's a tough one.
Fair laws and just courts. Well, yes, that is a tough one. And the reason I say it's a tough one is because who is it that's deciding what is the fair laws? Who's deciding the just courts?
If you just say fair laws and just courts, that leaves it up to interpretation, right?
Right.
I mean, what Hitler saw was fair and just.
And just, yeah.
Was not the same thing that Gandhi saw was fair and just. Maybe you're going to have to make sure you elect the right people
person
to govern this kind of thinking.
I'm going to get into number 6 because I feel like number 6 contradicts everything else
Kinda
before
does, doesn't it?
It says, let all nations, number 6 on the Georgia Guidestone says, let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in world court. Well, maybe not, because he's saying a world court. We're talking about 500 people in the world. We're talking about one common language in the world. We're talking about fair laws and just courts in the world. So number 6 says, let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court.
This rule right here is what the United States was based on originally. All states have their own government and their own set of rules. But when states go at it with each other, neighboring states have a dispute, it is settled by federal court. So basically, they took the outline of what our United States court system and governing body was supposed to be from the beginning, and they're trying to apply that to the entire world.
Right. I don't know, man. I'm gonna let you read number 6, but the further we're going down this list, a lot of it seems to contradict it. Go ahead.
Well, that was number 6, but number 7 is...
number 7, sorry.
Avoid petty laws and useless officials.
Before you say anything, can you read what number 5 says?
Number 5. Protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts.
Now, what does number 6 say again?
Avoid petty laws and useless officials. Now, I agree with this.
Number 7. Yeah.
I agree with this because over-governing kills the society.
Avoid petty... So, like, marijuana.
Over-regulation, yeah. Over-regulation will kill a lot of things. Like, if you want to equate it to something, over-regulation, if you have a small business, over-regulation will kill your small business.
Give me an example.
Like, say you're running this small business. A distribution company. You drive trucks. You are a transportation company for a certain product. Over regulations like, now we're going to make you carry these electronic logbooks. Okay, well, we can't afford that because we're a small business. Over regulation will kill small businesses. And that can happen to an entire economy by over regulating. You keep adding these certain petty laws in. Like, now you have to travel between these hours.
Give me an example of a petty law right now that's in effect.
Oh, there's tons of them from the old days.
Give me one that we can get in trouble for now.
That you can get, any of the old laws, those old primitive laws, like, you can't eat ice cream on the sidewalk in front of the courthouse.
Oh, my Lord Jesus.
They don't enforce things like that, but they still exist, and if they really wanted to be a-holes, they could. But a petty law. Okay. Let's go back to the driving industry.
Mm-hmm.
A petty law is if you go over your 8 hours driving.
Mm-hmm. You could be arrested.
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of stupid.
Mm-hmm.
What if I need overtime?
Exactly. That's a petty law. I mean, but they do it for certain various reasons, like collecting fines and keeping certain police officers employed and things like that.
Well, in number 7 is the one you just read. It said avoid petty laws and useless officials.
Yes.
What's
when you grow your government too big, and you're just adding new bodies to your government,
just to grow the government.
yes, just to grow your government for more power. Then you're over-regulating. You're overgrowing. For lack of a better term, your government's growing way too big. And there's people just being added into new offices that didn't need to exist in the first place.
Well, according to the Guidestones, if there's only 500 million people, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people in their government,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
But they're trying to say keep it to a minimum because it will help you in the long run. I mean, overgrowing government kills societies.
Overgrowing governments kill
Well,
society.
yeah.
Do we not have an overgrowing government?
Yes, we do. It's bad
and our
right now.
society
Yes.
is being killed.
Yes.
But you don't say it's from our government. You say it's from something else.
Well, I say the people are destroying society through social media.
So is the government, the people, or social media destroying our society? Sorry, guys.
It's kind of hard because we are seeing a direct effect of social media and over governing.
Right.
But we don't see ourselves on a decline right now because we've reached the event horizon, to go back to an earlier term. We've reached a point where we got as big as we could get as a society, and now we're on a slight downturn, but we're going so slow that you don't really notice it. It's almost like the rat where you turn it up.
About to say that.
Yeah, you turn it up by 1 degree a day. People don't realize that they're losing their freedom.
Do you believe that, man?
Yes. You don't believe people are losing freedom?
No, I believe we're losing freedom. I just don't know if it's because of a government or if it's because of social media or if it's because of laws. I think maybe social media.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I mean, social justice warriors.
yeah, dude, I look at it like when we were kids, if you did something wrong or you did something you knew that you were going to get in trouble for, your mom and your daddy going to beat your butt.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a just cause.
Mm-hmm.
And what my grandparents or my mom would tell me is, if I don't beat your butt now, when you get older, the system will.
Yeah.
So,
For sure.
All right, who reads the next one?
Let's see. What number was that? That was
7.
Okay, you got 8 and 9.
Okay. Number 8 says, no, you have number 8. I did Let All Nations
You
Rule.
did 1, 2. I did 3, 4. You did 5, 6. Oh yeah, 7 and 8. Okay, number 8. Balance personal rights with social duties.
That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Socialism.
To the T.
Yes.
Balance personal rights with social personal.
Now this is almost a contradiction, right?
Balance personal rights with social.
Because once you bring into when you bring social duties into your society, freedoms are automatically taken away.
Right.
So they're telling you to, I guess they're basically telling you to police yourself, because you can't have a small government but then tell everyone that they need to be watched over to contribute to society,
Right.
to do their just part.
And also, if the entire world of a population of 500 million people were to follow some sort of judicial system or some sort of constitution, are we following America's constitution?
Well, I think it would be a unified constitution.
See, that's my problem with these Guidestones. If we had to follow these 10 laws to the T, then that means we have to come up with a whole new constitution. Because as a number 8, it says balance personal rights. That means human rights. At the end of the day, in America, you have human rights, but in North Korea, you don't have those same human rights.
No.
So, which human rights are we talking about here?
I mean, it's going to be set by the new government that is put in place.
By Richard C. Christian?
Well, not, I mean, whoever is reading this post-apocalypse.
Okay.
And whoever has the task of forming the new government.
All right, let me get into number 9.
Yeah, let's do it.
Number 9 says, prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite.
So they're basically saying, be artistic.
Be truthful.
And this could be, I mean, you could interpret this in many different ways also.
Pride. And it kind of sounds, what's the word I'm looking for? It's kind of,
Hippie-ish?
not necessarily, yeah, hippie, but like, vain or
Well, we can tell these people were vain by looking at number 2.
which says,
A guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity.
oh yeah, you have to look fit. You have to be,
Otherwise, you're not going to be allowed to reproduce.
right, and you have to tell the truth. You gotta be beautiful. You have to love, and you have to seek harmony with the infinite.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of vanity in that.
Yeah. And number 10, guys, to close it out on the Georgia Guidestones, it says, "Be not a cancer on earth." That right there solidifies it. It's a hippie. Be not a cancer on earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature. I repeat, they said that twice. Number 10 says, "Be not a cancer on earth. Dash. Leave room for nature. Dash. Leave room for nature."
They had to reinstate that one.
Hippie tree hugger.
Restate it. not
Which
instate.
I'm okay with the hippie tree hugger. That's fine, but this definitely sounds like a
Like a hippie?
yeah.
Yeah. And John C. Christian was probably a collective of people that got together and decided on this and threw in their money, thinking that they were going to do something for the future, for post-apocalyptic era.
Man. Okay, you say less post-apocalyptic. Let's say there was a meteor that hit and wiped out not 95% of people on Earth, right?
Yes, that would be an apocalyptic event.
Okay, so 5% left on Earth. Let's say they just so happen to come to, what part of Georgia is this? Elberton, Georgia. 5% of the world's population just so happens to come to Elberton, Georgia. And they find these Guidestones. You know what? We have found the sacred stones. We need to live our life like this.
We found the 10 Commandments.
Well, they have to know how to read English in order to read. Oh, well, it's written in 8 different languages.
Yeah.
So.
Well, there's also what makes me think about it. If these people are survivors of the holocaustic thing that happens, the apocalyptic thing that happens, whatever it is, they're still going to have a memory of how it was before.
Yeah, if they survived it.
So what's going to make them just come across this and be like, we didn't know these things?
True. Well, one could argue, let's say 100% of the people died in that post-apocalyptic event. 100% people died. Now, let's say 30,000 years later,
they're new beings.
The primordial ooze, the humans,
new evolution
came, such as a Stonehenge, such as the pyramids, such as the Sphinx, and they just so happen to come across the Georgia Guidelines. That could be their version of our Sphinx, of our Bible, of our,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it could very well be. It could be found by a whole new. I mean, I personally would like to think that there was a whole different society that lived on this earth before a great disaster, a flood, or whatever it was.
When you say society, you mean like functioning human beings.
Yes. I mean, I think they were humans, maybe not exactly as we are because evolution does happen. But yeah, I think there was a society that lived on this earth before, before the society that we know of today.
Why do you think that?
Because we keep finding artifacts that no one can explain. What's the one called
that mechanism?
The ancient
computer?
Yes, exactly.
Well,
the
that
ancient
only
computer.
dates to about 10,000 years ago.
Was it 10,000?
Your Google's a lot faster.
Yeah. If I could remember the exact name of it.
I can do this quick. Let's see. Okay. It's the Antikythera mechanism. Oh my God, was lost 2,200 years ago. So that's not.
It was lost 2,200 years ago?
It was lost 2,200 years ago when the cargo ship carrying it was shipwrecked. So apparently.
Wait.
It says the Antikythera mechanism was lost over 2,200 years ago when the cargo ship carrying it was shipwrecked off the coast of the small Greek island.
Hold on. Listen to what you're saying. 2,200 years ago, a ship?
Well, they were pirates.
I mean, I guess. Yeah, I guess they were they building ships? I mean, this is before Christ, 2,200 years ago. Were they building ships, or were they just using small boats, or that sounds
hold on, you're right, you're making a very good point here. Hold on, let's see here. When was the first ship ever built? Oh, the first known vessel.
To Wikipedia, the first known vessels date back about 10,000 years ago, but could not be described as ships.
So,
I mean, I guess there's also the story of the Ark, whether you want to believe that or not. But I mean, apparently, even if that story is not true in itself, they had to have some knowledge of how to build giant boats.
True.
So maybe you're right. It just seemed weird saying a ship 2,200 years ago. Yeah.
But that, according to Google, says it was over 10,000. So, to put a bow on all of this, Smokey.
Yeah.
What are your final thoughts on the Georgia Guidestones? What are your final impressions on those 10 worldwide guidelines on the Georgia Guidestones?
I think it's a good idea in theory, but I don't think it will ever be put into use even after apocalypse.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because people love control and power, and this limits control and power. If you follow these to a T, you are very limited on your power.
Yeah, it basically says everyone's equal.
I mean, yeah. There's an old saying that says power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Wow.
So if you put someone in control to follow these rules, eventually they're going to have the power to not follow these rules anymore.
That makes sense.
And it's happened countless numbers of times throughout history.
Right. Okay, here's Hollywood's Behringer's final bow. I think this guy was a hippie. I think he was a major shroom marijuana smoker.
Probably.
And it's all BS.
Why BS?
Maybe BS is not the word to use, but I think, again, this is just me in my mind. I just think that this guy thought, let me plant something that's similar to Stonehenge that's been around forever. So if something happens, Stonehenge gets wiped out because it's way older than the Georgia Guidestones.
Yeah.
So then they find a new Stonehenge, which is Georgia Guidestones, and now we're looking at the Georgia Guidestones as if it was Stonehenge.
Yeah.
That has 8 different languages, so it's kind of like this guy was just kind of...
So you think he just wanted to plant something so he knows in his mind that I just put something on Earth that can carry out through time and...
Now he's the new religion.
Yeah.
Now he's the new Jesus Christ. Now he's the new Muhammad. Now he's the new...
But he did it anonymously.
I thought his name was John C.
That was
Christian.
a pseudonym.
Well,
I think
who's to
John
say
C.
Jesus...
Christian is a pseudonym for a group of people that actually did this.
When I hear C. Christian, That right there throws my antennas up. You know, and who's to say Jesus Christ wasn't a pseudonym? Who's to say
Yeah, I mean,
Allah
it very well
Akbar
could be.
was not a pseudonym?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, so you think that he didn't have the intention of actually helping a future society?
Yeah, I think that was in his head as to how humanity could prosper. In his mind.
So why is it BS then?
Okay, maybe BS wasn't the right word to use. Maybe BS wasn't the right word to use, but I think it's vanity. This is how I think. This is how I feel. This is what I think is going to make the world a better place. I'm going to spend some money. We're going to put these Guidestones in, follow those rules, just in case there's a post-apocalyptic event. That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably exactly what he was thinking.
Could be.
Yeah.
Anything else you got for the people, Smoke Dizzle?
That's it for today, man. That was a deep one.
Hey, man, this was a great one. Y'all, I want to thank y'all so much for checking out the 39th episode of the Trash Talk Podcast. Make sure y'all hit that like button, to subscribe, to share, the comment. Tell a friend so they can tell a friend, and tell that friend to tell another friend, your auntie, cousins, chickens, frogs, ducks, and cats.
And leave us a comment, for God's sake.
Please and thank you, guys. My name is Behringer Hollywood 6 Bye.
I am Larry Smokey Ramirez Cowan.
And we are over and out.
Deuces.